Hello everyone and welcome to another class of Physiology for Engineers with Professor Gonzalez-Fernandez at Lehigh University. Today we are going to focus on the skeletal system. The skeletal system is very important because it's formed by our bones and also the connective tissues. And the connective tissues, we have different examples. So we have the cartilage, the tendons, and the ligaments. We are not going to look at those today. So they are going to stabilize. They are very important because they are going to stabilize the skeletal system. They are going to give stability to the bones. So the skeletal system is an important system because it has 5 well-defined different functions. So the first function is going to be the support. So it supports our body and our body weight, so we can stand, we can walk, we can do exercises. The second function is the storage. So inside our bones, we are going to store different minerals, and also we are going to store lipids. So in our bones, we store calcium and potassium and also phosphate. And also inside the bone marrow in the medullary cavity, we are going to store lipids and fat. So that's huge energy storage. Then we are going to have blood cell production. So inside the medullary cavity of our bones, we have the hematopoietic niche. So in that niche, we have the hematopoietic stem cells, and the hematopoietic stem cells are going to produce all the blood cell types in our body. So for example, they are going to produce from the erythrocytes, they are going to carry the oxygen to the different tissues, and also they are going to produce the different immune cells that are going to help us defend from different pathogens. Also, a part of the hematopoietic stem cells that are going to create all the blood cells in our body, we also have mesenchymal stromal cells. And the mesenchymal stromal cells are very important because in the mesenchymal niche, these cells are going to differentiate into every different cell type in the skeletal system, including the muscle cells, bone cells, cartilage cells, tendon, and ligaments. Okay, so we have the fourth function, which is protection. So the skeletal system, our bones are going to protect our internal organs. For example, the skull is going to protect the brain, and here the rib cage is going to protect our heart and our lungs. And finally, the fifth one is movement. Because the bones are going to allow us to carry weight and to bind the muscles to our body, so they are essentials for us to walk and perform different movements, right? Okay, so let's look a bit more in depth at the different types of bone. So the different bones are classified according to their shape. So let's draw here another student. Okay, so we have the different bones according to the shape. So starting from the head, here we have the flat bones. So they are called flat because they are very flat, they are very narrow. And for example, the parietal bone or the occipital bone, they are going to protect our brain and they are going to be part of our skull. Then we have the sutural. So the sutural bones are bones that are going to be between the flat bones in our skull. So the flat bones, they are connected to each other through these sutures. And there are like small bones that are going to be between different flat bones, so between the sutures, so that's why they are called sutural bones, and they are very similar to the flat bones. Then if we go a bit under our head, we are going to have the irregular bones. The irregular bones, a good example are the vertebrae. So these are bones which have a very irregular shape. Then we go a bit under, and we have some long bones here in our arm, right? But we're going to look at the femur in a sec. And then we have here the short bones. So regular is 3, short bones is number 4. So the short bones are these really small bones that we have in our hands and also in our feet. For example, or the carpial bones here in our wrist. Then we go here to our legs, and the long bone that I want to focus on is the femur, which is this bone that starts here in our hip and ends up here in the knee. So we have the long bones. So this will be 5. And these long bones, for example, the femur, are very different to the flat bones and also the sharp bones and the regular bones, and we are going to look at them in more detail in a sec. And then finally, here we have the sesamoid bones, which are these small bones that are going to be in the joints between two long bones. Usually, a good example of that is the patella. So the patella is this bone that is here in the joint in our knee. Okay, so, and this is number 6. So now I want to focus a bit more on the structure and the differences between the long bones and also the flat bones.